Hey guys, welcome to Dreamcoin, where we show you how to invest for a better tomorrow. My name's Tyler, and today we're going to be going over the popular altcoin that's kind of exploding right now as a quote-unquote meme called Shiba Inu, otherwise known as SHIB for its short name, and its entire ecosystem, and why I think it's going to be a lot bigger than a meme, and why it could be a potential investment to look into as they look to build upon what they're expanding right now. So to dive in specifically, SHIB is a token that is being built through the Ethereum blockchain, and this is due to them believing this was their most viable option for decentralization and a more sound infrastructure to be a backbone for their system. They did send 50% of the total supply to Vitalik's wallet, which, if you're not aware, Vitalik is one of the main co-founders of the Ethereum network as a whole. And this came under fire because Vitalik actually did end up donating a significant portion of this to the India COVID relief effort, which you can argue this one way or the other, but obviously if there's a large portion of the supply being given out to any source at one time that could be liquidated, it's not going to look good for the price of the token itself. But on the other side, which I personally agree with, this is a decent decision from him just because this allows for some relief efforts to be put more towards India, and this also provided for a lot of positive public PR for the Shiba Inu token as well, that kind of combated a lot of the negative stuff people were saying about it, just because a lot of people were saying that this was basically going to be a rug pull with all this going on. And outside of all of this crazy news going on with them and talks of them just being a meme coin, they are working on ShibaSwap, which is going to be an exchange where you can trade, buy, sell, and also stake your Shiba tokens for different reasons that whatever you want to do, whether you're trying to swap it for Ethereum or you're trying to stake it for their other tokens that they're bringing into their ecosystem. And this would allow a lot of people to have a more fluid, possibly, system to trade on than some of the bigger exchanges right now, especially with a lot of them coming under fire from a lot of people joining into crypto now with all the hype around it and it providing for some liquidity issues on certain platforms. So the basic essence of the tokenomics of ShibaSwap is going to be essentially the main three tokens of SHIB, Leash, and Bone. Leash being their main asset that they had started with on the system, SHIB being the next that everybody is currently knowing of, and Bone being the third aspect that comes along with staking your SHIB. So the way to kind of break this down, because the wording can be kind of confusing if you are newer to this kind of stuff and the different terminology they use throughout this, if you have SHIB tokens, you'll be able to stake them. And staking is basically the process of you just locking in your tokens that you own for a percent interest back that you can get on your return. For anybody newer to crypto, it's kind of similar to a savings account where you'd have a certain amount of money in your account and they'll pay you a percentage per year. Generally in crypto, they can pay you even weekly or monthly for your APY that you would normally get. But basically on their system, you'd be staking your SHIB and you would get Bone back. And Bone would be the next token that you would be looking to dig up with your SHIB. If you break it down into their terminology, they're basically using metaphor saying that your SHIB will dig for bones or bury the tokens, and then you can also teach them to swap the tokens for another, so you could swap out the bones for other tokens for different returns, that kind of stuff, with the way they're setting up the system. So that seems pretty cool and a little bit different from a lot of stuff I've seen on a lot of exchanges as well. And when you bury your stake tokens, it's basically going to come out where SHIB turns into X SHIB, Leash turns into X Leash, and Bone turns into T Bone, and these will kind of help set up liquidity pools for different things like that. They're also going to have all their liquidity pairs basically set up to match Ethereum, so you can trade each for Ethereum and vice versa, and all those kind of things. And the way they're basically trying to set the system is that some of the pools will give bigger returns, I would assume, if they're smaller, usually just to incentivize more people to stake. But the puppy pools would essentially set up for possibly double or triple the returns that would be on more congested pools that they have set up. So to kind of predict the price action for SHIB and where I think they're going on top of the ShibaSwap stuff, going into today, May 16th, Vitalik had about 45% of the SHIB supply left in his wallet. He actually ended up burning about 40% of that, which means he sent it to a wallet that is dead. There's not going to be any way to get that coin back. And so virtually almost half of the supply of SHIB was just destroyed and cannot be put back in the marketplace, which is very bullish for tokens in general, because this drops the supply a significant amount. It's going to make it so that it's going to be more valuable for price action and everything. Usually this is a nice sign for stuff with different backgrounds of different fundamentals that they have going on, because with a shorter supply, this is going to make it so that there's more incentivization for people to want to be early investors. The price is going to go up over time, as opposed to an inverse where you've got an infinite supply and it's a lot harder to push the price just based on needing a ton of people to buy into it and get the price going. This is also going to be where, you know, a few different people could own a large amount and then start pushing it up by themselves, because other people are going to want to be getting in. There's not going to be as much liquidity. It's going to be harder to get a hold of, that kind of stuff. What this is going to do going into the future is allow for a significantly less amount of SHIB to be available on the market. As we look at the current trading price for SHIB to US dollar, this is the approximate balance for SHIB right now. So it's far lower than even a penny right now. So it's a very low point from where they've been. Their peak was around just under that 0.00004 range, and this would allow for them to be a nice buy range if you're trying to get in for long term. I think if you bought here, about like 30 bucks would get you a couple million. So that would get you a couple million of token. That would get you set up to get some in your wallet, no matter where you get it from, and possibly get set up to start that staking process when they do get their ShibaSwap live. And so that's where I'm going to be watching the price action going forward. Long term, this could see a very bullish run with that ShibaSwap system coming out and a lot more people looking to stake their stuff. And if their other tokens become increasing in value and it's harder to get a hold of those because you have to stake for those, it's going to incentivize people to buy more of these tokens to be able to stake and dig for those. It's kind of a similar process to almost trying to mine for tokens in a far significantly less way. This is going to set them up for what I think could be a very nice run into the future. And, you know, very long term, if this turns out well and they can become one of the biggest exchanges on the Ethereum network, especially going into ETH 2.0, this could set them up for a very nice rise to potentially $1 or more in the far future. Now, don't get me wrong, I think that's a very long time from now. I think that would take like a year or two or more, especially waiting to see how it performs on the new Ethereum network when everything goes live and the gas fees and stuff hopefully go down and Ethereum becomes a little more deflationary. This could help set them up to be a direct competitor to other exchanges and allow for people a better, possibly more efficient option for swapping their currencies. I will be doing more content on both stocks and crypto going forward, because I do want to have you guys very diversified in your assets and your knowledge of the different assets and everything going forward. I'll be looking at different stuff like Cardano and the new Ethereum network and why I think both of those are going to be the largest things for you to look out for over the next couple years as blockchain networks. That's going to essentially set up my content going forward so you know what to look out for. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.